Hello, here's a big question to start. What do you think has the most powerful bite in the world? Could it belong to an ancient shark, maybe? We'll find out. My name's Dan. This is the Fun Kids Science Midweekly. It's a little bonus bite of some of the most amazing science that we find all around the universe. Every Wednesday we are here and I answer your science questions. So we'll do that. Plus, how long have humans been on Earth? And we discover and answer the most pressing question of them all. How do toasters not get hot on the outside?
My name's Isla and I'm from Crieff, Scotland. I would like to know, what is the most deadliest animal in the past?
Isla, thank you. What's the deadliest animal from the past? Well, there are many different ideas about that. The deadliest animal around today could be seen as the hippopotamus. They're a huge beast. They normally weigh over a ton. They can run at 30 kilometers an hour. It's got a shockingly strong bite, sharp, crushing teeth, and they're very territorial, which means if you go near their home, if you so much as look at their young, they show you no mercy. And because they're so big and so fast, you've got almost no chance of getting away. Now, other people might say the deadliest animal around today is the mosquito, who are incredibly dangerous. They're tiny flying insects that feed off sucking your blood. The problem is, when they take some of your blood, they push back bacteria and viruses into your body. And these illnesses are incredibly deadly to humans. They're one of the most dangerous on the planet. If we're looking at deadly beasts from history, it's tougher to work out, Isla. Because, well, we might not know about all the creatures that have ever been around. We might not know about exactly how they did damage. But we've got a good idea, and we need to talk about Megalodon. What a brilliant name for a dangerous creature. Megalodon. Sounds a bit like a very scary ride you might do at a theme park over in America. Megalodon was a massive shark from 20 million years ago. They could grow to 20 meters long, weighing over 60 tons. Their teeth were thick, robust, and sharp. They were brilliant at breaking bones. They could bite down with a force of 150,000 newtons. Now, newtons is one of the measurements that we use to figure out how forceful something is. To kind of help you imagine that, we spoke about the hippo bite earlier, didn't we? That's got a strong bite. They chomp down with 80,000 newtons. Megalodon bit down with 150,000 newtons. So almost 20 times stronger. Isla, if we're talking about the most dangerous beast from the past, I think we need to look at the Megalodon. Thank you for your question. Let's get another one on. This is from Luca.
Hello, my name is Luca. I'm 6 years old. And my question is, how does toasters work without getting hot on the outside? Thank you.
Luca, thank you for your question. It's what I love most about this show and talking about science. We've chatted about really dangerous beasts from the past, and now something that you probably have in your kitchen. Well, toasters, normally they do get a bit hot on the outside. Inside toasters, you've got these mini radiators, and electricity goes into these thin strips of wires. The wires are called filaments, and that electrical energy gets turned into heat energy. And that heat then moves to the edge of the bread where it cooks it just a little bit. Inside the toaster is something called a thermostat that helps the machine know how hot it's getting so it doesn't let the wires get too hot. Otherwise, the whole thing could catch on fire. So because of this, the toaster on the outside will get a little warm, but it's not so hot that it's really a problem. Luca, thank you for that. Let's get another question on.
Hi. My name is Beatrix. I'm 7 years old. And my question is, in all the years that the world has been around, how many years have humans been around?
Tricky question this, Beatrix. Humans are Homo sapiens. That's our proper science name. We've evolved over many years from loads of different types of creatures. Experts think that ape-type animals who walked on two legs were around over 2 million years ago. And then the thousands of years after that, some of these creatures evolved differently and became kind of similar type of animals to us humans, maybe a bit different. And gradually, some of them evolved to be Homo sapiens. Scientists think that around 300,000 years ago, the first humans, as we know it, started to exist. 300,000 years ago, that's really how long humans have been around. But what's amazing, picture this. Everything that we know of the universe, we think has been around for 14 billion years since the Big Bang. Humans have only been here for 300,000 years, which means that for 99.998% of time since the Big Bang, almost every single second, there have been no human beings at all. Beatrix, what a mind-blowing fact. Thank you so much for your question. Let's get a quick last one on. This is from Cooper.
Hi, my name is Cooper, and I would like to know how many light years is Uranus away from the sun?
It turns out, Cooper, that Uranus isn't that far from the sun at all. Not in the grand scheme of things. When we talk about millions of light years away, it's nothing close. It's about 1.8 billion miles away from the sun. But remember, sunlight moves incredibly fast. It takes 8 minutes for light to get from the sun to our planet. And we're closer than Uranus. It takes about 2 light hours, 40 minutes for light to get from the sun to Uranus. So that means it's 2 hours and 40 minutes away. 2 light hours, 40 minutes, Cooper. Not a light year at all. Nothing close. Thank you for the question. Thank you for your questions. I love listening to them. I love getting them to star on the podcast too. If you've got one, funkidslive.com is the place you can ask it. Now let's catch up with the team at Aquanauts Central. Today we're looking at floods and problems we can encounter with water.
Aquanauts, engineering our water future. In February 2040, the coastal town of Deadliest experienced a powerful storm that battered the area, flooding homes and businesses, destroying seawalls and washing away the railway line, leaving the southwest cut off from the rest of the UK for weeks. Millions have been invested fortifying the seawall, but experts warn that such extreme weather events are likely to become more frequent.
Hi, I'm Arno. I'm with the Aquanauts. We're wild about water and how to make sure there's enough for everyone who needs it, now and in years to come.
Activate Aquanauts.
Flooding has always been a seasonal problem, but it's happening more and more frequently, and with significant consequences. The crazy thing is, the amount of water on Earth hasn't changed since the time of dinosaurs. Every drop you drink is the same that a T-Rex might have gulped down. But climate change is making this ancient resource a real headache, threatening us with both too much and too little. Let's dive into how we need to change our infrastructure to stay afloat. Over to you, Hudson.
Thanks, Arno. Wish I'd brought an umbrella. England's supposedly rainy weather may be the butt of many jokes, but it also highlights a serious problem. Despite the occasional downpour, parts of the UK are actually running out of water. Amazingly, London and the southeast are as dry as parts of Australia and Kenya, with average rainfall of less than 600 millimetres a year. To make matters worse, many people live in the southeast, and nearly a third of our groundwater and a fifth of our rivers and reservoirs are being sucked dry faster than they can refill. This is unsustainable and could leave us high and dry. To help, new reservoirs are being built across the country, with pipe networks to move water between different regions. We also need to stop using aquifers, natural underground water stores. Taking out more water than nature puts in is like using up your phone battery faster than you can charge it. Eventually, you're left with nothing but a dead phone, or in this case, dry taps.
It's not just a local issue. Rivers around the world are drying up before they even reach the sea, and big lakes are shrinking and even disappearing.
Aquafact.
The Victorians straightened many rivers, believing it would improve the land. In reality, it just made the water run faster and carry away precious nutrients. Curvy is better than straight when you want to slow things down, and that's something that's happening in the New Forest, with rivers being given back their natural curves to help enhance wildlife habitats. Allowing water to flow naturally and meander slowly through the landscape helps when there's high rainfall, reducing erosion and the risk of flooding in built-up areas. Climate change is messing with the water cycle, causing long dry spells followed by intense rainfalls. This back and forth of extreme weather is a disaster for our current infrastructure.
Aquafact.
There were 12 storms in the UK between 2023 and 2024, double the amount from a few years earlier. So as well as putting curves back in, how can we fix this watery dilemma? Well, we need to beef up our flood defences. Flooding is not just about getting your feet wet. It can ruin homes and infrastructures, as well as cut off towns and transport links. Flood defences like seawalls, barriers and embankments, as well as flood risk management, are vital to build our resilience and ability to recover faster. And we also need to think about nature-based solutions that are more permeable and use less concrete. Even with all these solutions, people in flood risk areas need to take measures to make their homes flood secure, such as floodgates or even houses on stilts. To keep our transport infrastructure safe, we need to think big, and that might include raising road levels and installing new structures, like embankments, and improving drainage with better culverts and permeable surfaces that allow water to seep into the ground and reduce runoff. On the railways, floodwater can wash away the stones that support the tracks and get into vital signalling and other electronics, turning rail journeys into risky business. Reinforcing slopes with steel rods and better drainage can keep landslides at bay. After all, nobody wants to be delayed by a giant pile of mud. So on one hand, climate change affects the amount of water to go around, and on the other, there's too much water to cope with. Are there any ways to put floodwater to good use? Infrastructure companies and landowners can work together to divert floodwater towards reservoirs and green spaces, providing more sources for daily use and helping habitats thrive. From rain gardens and green roofs that soak up water to more resilient infrastructure, every little bit helps. And for those dry spells, let's get creative with water recycling and smarter irrigation for farms. You can be an Aquanaut by helping your local area deal with excess rainwater by giving it places to drain away, like keeping natural grass in your garden rather than paving it over, or replacing with artificial grass. You should also report blocked drains when you spot them, and perhaps think about a career in water tech in the future.
Water workers.
There's a wide range of jobs across the water sector, and today's water worker is...
Flood engineers use their expertise to reduce the risk of flooding by designing structures like dams, drainage networks and seawalls. They also manage rivers and even the sea through beach nourishment.
Stick with us, and we're going to be helping you understand the challenges ahead. Discover some of the cool engineering and careers that are solving problems today. And find out how we can all make a difference with more tips so you can be an Aquanaut too. See you again next time when we're going into space to see how astronauts get their water. Aquanauts, created with support from the Royal Academy of Engineering and Cardiff University. If you'd like to find out more about engineering our water future, visit funkidslive.com/water.
If you want to find out more about how we use water, get to funkidslive.com and search for Aquanauts. It's dead easy. Now, this is a mini Fun Kids Science Weekly episode. I've got a bigger, more bursting and science-stuffed one for you this Saturday. And in it, we'll discover why we cry.
It's a very interesting question, and I just want to start by making the point that when we're talking about crying, we're talking about tears appearing in our eyes. And actually, that's very common in nature. Anything that's got an eye will produce tears to lubricate those eyes.
That's Sophie Scott. She's a very famous scientist. We'll get more from her. And in our Battle of the Sciences this week, we'll learn all about the science of sleep.
Sleep is a absolutely fascinating part of our life. All animals, as far as we know, sleep, but actually we do not know what sleep is. Sleep is a mysterious state. I can tell you that sleep is important, but everybody knows that sleep is important. But why do we sleep? Why do we spend so much of our life in this very bizarre, very strange, very mysterious state?
It's on the way in a brand new Fun Kids Science Weekly. I can't wait to get cracking, so I'll see you then.